let's have some fun. I gave the whole showtime today to my man, David Weiss. Hey, welcome back, man. I think it was, I don't even know what day, what was it? Was like a year ago. You said it was like, it felt like yesterday.
It
It
does.
was,
So you've had a year
I
to look at.
remember how we actually, how did we stumbled on each other. I don't even remember, but we had a phone call and you're like, hey, let's do this fast. It was like a 2-day turnaround or some crazy thing like that.
I think it's when you first mentioned something about flat Earth, and I was like, "All right, we need to talk," and you agreed. Something like that. I don't remember. Been
I
doing a
just
lot
don't
of
remember how we
interviews.
connected though.
I probably reached out to
I don't
you.
even remember. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I got a text or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy. But I'll be when you first were on, I remember you're on the phone, you go, okay, do you believe it or not? And I go, I'm mid road. Like I can see what people are saying, but at the same time, like it doesn't make sense, etc. And you're like, I'll prove it to you. I got on, I'm like, okay, cool, that makes sense. And then I was in and out of it a little bit, and then for some reason, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, something yanked me back in. And I was listening to Patrick with OneRadioNetwork.com. You were on, and the evolution of the mind. I was more open to it, even more. Not that I'm like, I'm fine if it is. Like, I have no problems with it. I'm a creator guy. Like, I'm a creation guy. Like, this actually is cool because I want the truth to come out, no matter what it is, right?
Sure.
And then I started watching your stuff again. I'm like, damn, I'm ready for it. Like, I'm like, this is like 99%, man. Like,
Jason, when
what
you say you're 99%, you're actually
I'm in.
110%. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to burst your bubble. You're trying to just reserve it for those people that are judging you. Um, we're going to be judged all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. Let's just start from the end. Flat Earth is the obvious answer. There's the heliocentric spinning globe is the most ridiculous thing ever. I actually, I have my Bitcoin offer, 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. I have 100 Bitcoins for anything dumber than the heliocentric model, right? And there is nothing dumber. There's nothing in this universe, including just everything. There's nothing dumber. Once you see it, then you say you're a creator guy. Well, I wasn't a creator guy. Well, this showed me there is a creator. And then we could spend the rest of our lives talking about who that creator is and what our relationship is. That's fine. And we might totally agree or totally disagree. That's fine. But there's a creator. Okay? So there's a creator. And this entire helio sinister trick soul lure system is about stealing your divinity. It's about taking away your creation. It's about destroying this wonderful creation and limiting your ability to manifest within it.
Dude, I 100% agree. And I told you, and we'll go into questions because I want you to do some of your new presentation and whatever you have. But what actually started selling me last night and this morning, was I'm like, this is what the Masons know, the Freemasons know, and they're not saying. That's what this is all about. They're the ones that know the truth. They're not letting in. And then I'm going, okay, this is the sun and this is the black sun. One of my moderators, Veronica, she's like, hey, this makes sense. I have to dive down that road tonight. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the big lie. And this is why people are so terrified of it. Because I tweeted this morning or last night, why is everyone so terrified of this discussion? Some people like, you're automatically crazy, or, oh my gosh, it can't be a flat earth. I'm like, but if you're a believer of truth and believe you're a soul and believe you're a being and you can create your destiny, and it shouldn't scare you at all.
Well, it scares us because it's ripping the foundation of your entire core belief out from underneath you. Jason, you built a world around you with, your business, your family, your friends. You built a safe world around you. And it's all built within a belief system. And if somebody just came and just said, hey, all your beliefs are wrong, that's a lot to deal with. And people,
Right.
People can't, they'd rather not have to deal with that emotional disturbance. So the foundation of your entire world belief before you could even talk is the globe. I mean, all the children's books, all the movies, every Disney, all of that, it's all globe programming. Once you see it, you can't
The
unsee
education system is lit. They have you from the start with that. Like, all I can think of when I think of a school, I think of I think of a globe in a school. Like I'm like, oh my God, they have you from the beginning. That's what this is all about.
Beyond that, if you have kids, you probably put a mobile above their heads in their crib of the solar system. Okay.
Right.
And you read them Goodnight Moon, right? All of this stuff, everything is globe programming, and it's to set that foundation. And then they get us lost with all, when I lost space and Star Wars and all of that, that was the most troubling part. But I think I've replaced it with something better, real outer space across the Earth plane, not this cosmic ridiculous nonsense. Just real quick, and I'm just recovering from a little chest cold, so excuse me. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. Do you know how fast 66,000 miles an hour is?
Show me the water, the plane of water not moving.
This is Mach 8.6. Ready? Did you see it?
I saw that the other day, so I did see it. But
yeah, it's unbelievable.
So fast.
Just look up the hypersonic sled track so you can hear it yourself. And we're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. 10 times faster than that. Can you fathom that? You can't. I'm just telling you. And then we're chasing the sun 90 times faster than that. But we have lakes that do this, right? No matter how many times you look at this, this is amazing. I mean, imagine a dinner plate in a car going on. You're in a beautiful Tesla on a perfectly smooth straight road going 100 miles an hour. You have a dinner plate and you fill it with water to the brim. If that car makes the slightest turn, accelerates or decelerates this tiniest bit, what's going to happen to that water? Neil deGrasse Tyson says that because of the spin of the Earth, the centrifugal force pushes the water out at the equator and it bulges 14 miles high. This is what their scientism says, okay? They call it science, but it's really scientism. 14 miles high. Think about that. An airplane flies about 5 miles high. At what point, when you're flying from America to South America, do you climb, tripling your altitude, an extra 10 miles to skim over a hump of water? And this is what the globe believers call science. They're like, well, it bulges. Where's the science? There is no
Maybe
science.
That's why they're called globalists.
Everything is global. When you realize how many globes are in movies, it's insane. It's incredible. And they also mock us. They tell us what's going on with commercials and cartoons. My co-host Matt Long, YouTube channel Woketown, one word, just put out another video on Aladdin. Aladdin, it's a flat Earth. It's about the flat Earth. They're talking about the ends of the Earth, and they're always putting stuff out there. So when we talked a year ago. Have you slept? Have you slept? Because I haven't slept in 5 years, all right? Because once you start looking into this, the pit is endless. It's a bottomless pit. What's below the bottomless pit? I don't know. Just like nobody knows what's below 8 miles, flat or globe.
I now understand the two pillars in Freemasonry.
Yes.
Dude, like this is I find it fascinating. Because I'm like, okay, we need to go find out what's going on the outer skirts of this thing. Like this is completely thrilling. Yeah. And other people are terrified.
Unbelievable. But here's the thing. People are terrified because of their egos. Let that stuff go. Let it go. Free your mind. Here's the thing, Jason. You know the power of our mind. You're an awake guy. You know that your mind creates your world around you. Everything Correct. You have in your life, from this show to your practice to the people in your life, it's the way that you think that has drawn them in. Right?
Right.
So that's like casted, like if you have a fishing net, I'm using this analogy as I'm making it up as it's coming out of my mouth, and you toss it and it has like a 10-foot radius, you're going to catch those fish in that 10-foot radius and you're going to manifest those fish into your life. But what if that net can go 100 miles or 1,000 miles or even farther, right? It's going to open up a whole world of manifestation that you didn't know was there. But they've limited our minds by putting us in a prison, and that prison is the globe. Okay. And so we think, okay, well, there's not endless water. That's a lie. There's not endless food. That's a lie. There's not endless, free energy. That's a lie. all of those things exist. They've told us they don't exist. They told us this is the world. This is it. That we know the whole world. It's all been discovered already. Okay. So we're limiting our thoughts, which is limiting our manifestation. This is limiting the usefulness that we have in this creation. Then we're also put in a place of insignificance. Nothing exploded and created everything, you know, and then stars formed in a vacuum. That's a problem. Okay. And all of these gravities never intermix with each other, where the sky is a perfect clock. It always repeats. You know, you can measure the days, seasons, months, years, millennia by the sky clock. That's not a random beehive gravitational BS universe. Okay. It doesn't work that way. So once you understand that you are part of the Earth system, that we are part of this living system that we are within, and we are part of it, and the true currency of this world is our soul. Okay, our soul is, I look at it as it's a spark of God. It's a piece of God within us. And our goal, the rules for this game are amazingly simple. You can fit them in a fortune cookie. You open it up, it says, don't break anyone else's free will and don't lose control of your soul. That's it.
So simple.
That's it. One side of a fortune cookie. The other side just says, have a nice day. Okay?
That picture behind you. So
not a picture. This is a video from a balloon at 120,000 feet. Okay? This is what flat earthers show. We like to show videos versus NASA. They like to show us pictures
NASA's such
images.
Okay? NASA's what? NASA's like less than 2 hours away from me, and it's amazing how much of a fraud it is.
It's the entire purpose of NASA is to make you think you live on a globe. That's it.
What? Yeah. So I have to bring this up, and I want you to do your presentation because I
don't have a presentation. I just have a conversation.
I can interrupt
bring
you
up
all day
examples.
Long. So, first of all, the moon. Okay, so I had the NASA logo. The tongue is a reptile tongue. It's a snake tongue. The red things through NASA logo is a snake tongue. Like
absolutely.
I had there was a NASA patient of ours several years ago. He was retiring, so he was leaving the state, and he was in the office. He was working with my wife, and the last day I ran out after him, and I said, "Okay, I need to know some stuff." And he was pretty high up.
NASA guy.
I said, "What's that?"
A NASA guy.
NASA guy. He was like a NASA exec.
Tell me.
And I said, "Okay, I need to know something." I go, "What's going on?" I go, "What is the moon? What is?" And he goes, "I can't tell you some of the things that I know." And he was retiring, so he was more open about it, but he still couldn't say certain things. He goes, "Okay." He goes, "I can tell you certain things." He goes, "The moon is hollow. We pinged it." As in we pinged it. He said it was hollow. Now this is what he told me. And then he said, "Mars does not look like that."
Cool story, bro.
And so I love it.
I don't want to call the guy a liar, so I'll just say he's compartmentalized and he's believing the nonsense also.
So that's that. Yeah. So that is a question. So he said the moon was hollow. Now, this is my question. Because I didn't know if I believed the Kubrick video where he said that they did the video and everything else. But then in my head, I'm going, okay, why have we never been back to that? We've never been back to the moon. That makes zero sense. And then I heard somewhere that their 1970s technology got lost and we can't get back there because we can't.
Painful process to build it back again.
We can't build back the technology from the 70s, but we have Space Force. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And every one of them was amazing.
When I realized that the imagery, this is before I was a flat earther, I was like, okay, it does kind of look shaky, the stuff that they showed us. So then the story, the other behind door number 2, they give you another fake story, which is we're not showing the technology because we don't want the Russians to steal it. So they showed the American people something else. So then when you discount that, door number 3, they're like, yeah, there's 4 million aliens on the backside of the moon. They told us not to come back. So
that was some stories I was told.
Yeah. And I don't want to say that I believed it, but I may have. So but now when you understand that the moon, you want to know what the moon is?
Tell me.
I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea what it is. I
I
look at the
I,
moon.
I know it has
I
an
howl
impact.
at the moon sometimes.
I know that it has an impact energetically. I can tell you that.
I, so there's a gentleman named Benjamin Balderson. He's been on Crow 777 radio. He's I don't know what you want to call him, an alchemist, or he just really understands a lot. And he talks about the moon and the sun being like the fertilization of the earth, and they have to do with sending energy. And the moon removes and delivers souls to the earth for incarnation. Okay, don't ask me to explain that because I could barely even tell you what I just told you without getting confused. So it makes a lot of sense. You follow the moon. If women's reproductive cycles, same as the moon, you know, there are these, people behave differently during full moons.
Dude, so I guess my big health claim to fame is I help people with parasitic infections, parasitic issues. And dude, every full moon, I mean, there's some worse than others. Every single full moon, as they say, the lunatics come out, the lunar, like parasites get crazy, not only on the earth, but in people's bodies. Like, dude, right. There's energetically something to this whole thing. Now, I have a really great astrologer friend that she's on the show all the time. She's also a chiropractor. She's very smart, Dr. Tina. And dude, she nails like everything based off of just reading the star maps, things like that. But she's not like crazy woo. She's very objective. She's awesome. Good friend.
Think about astrology. You know, they're charting the movements of the things that we call planets, which are wandering stars.
So that's my question. What are those, and what are they? What are they picking up on?
But just real quick on astrology, the movement of these things are what they're charting. Hey, this is moving this way. Mars is in retrograde, whatever. How come they never talk about the movement of the Earth?
I'll have to ask her.
They don't, because the Earth doesn't move. So you can be an astrologer and still believe in the heliocentric system. As long as you ignore the Earth's movement, you might get a lot of stuff right. Right?
Well, I follow 3 of them. One of them is a close friend, and they don't give specific like on this date, but they can judge what's going to happen emotionally and what's going to happen energetically, and they nail that. Like it's boom, dead on.
Yeah. So, but once you lay that knowledge of those motions over a flat Earth, you become a more powerful astrologer.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about what the moon isn't. I mean, not the moon. I'm sure you look up at the sky. We had the full moon, the harvest moon the other night. I watched that rise. That was the craziest. I filmed it. I'm afraid to look at the film because it was so crazy. I don't know what's going on there. And when I know when I look at it, my head's going to explode with all different kinds of ideas. Just to be clear, I have no idea what the moon is. All right. And saying it's a rock, well, I can tell you you're wrong right there. So if you look up, right with the moon was Jupiter. Jupiter is the brightest, biggest star in the sky. Okay, you look at it, it's that bright star that's right near the moon right now. It's pretty darn close to the moon, and you have to believe that the sun is reflecting off of this dusty, dirty, gassy ball, right? A gassy ball, which isn't even that reflective, and shining back to Earth that bright. Think about this, though. If you were on Jupiter and looking at the sun, you wouldn't see the sun like we see it, like the size of a quarter in the sky. It would look like a star. It's so far away. Okay? So that little sun, that little tiny sun, way off in the distance, is lighting up Jupiter bright enough to shine light all the way back to Earth and be brighter than any other star. Do you have a problem with that?
Now I do that you talk about it.
Yeah.
We're told 93 million miles away.
Is yeah. No, the sun is 93 million miles away, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're on Jupiter, the sun is smaller because it's farther. We're closer
Correct.
to the sun. Excuse me.
Whoa, I love the mug.
Thank you. So how the inverse square law of light. Now people, whoa, what the heck's that? The inverse square law of light is basically simple. It says every time you double the distance to a light, it's 1/4 of the brightness. Or every time you half the distance to a light, it's 4 times as bright. Okay? This is their science. Okay? Whether it's true or not, I think it's true. But That distant sun is lighting up this planet, and then that planet, that light is coming all the way to Earth, and we see it brighter than a star. That means it's even brighter. Okay, when you look at the moon on a full moon night, it's bright. You can read by it. You can drive your car with the lights off in the middle of nowhere, right? If you went halfway to the moon, it would be 4 times brighter. Halfway again, 16 times brighter. And by the time you got to 100 miles from the moon, I think it's something like 10 or 100 million lumens, right? Which would just melt your face.
Oh,
all right.
Right.
So
you
how
wouldn't exist.
is that possible? How is that possible on a moon? That's a dusty, dirty ball reflecting light. It's clearly its own light. Clearly.
I can't believe you haven't got any secret society letters sent to you.
I'm waiting for one. If it comes with like an island in the Caribbean where I could kite surf out of my own yard, I might be for sale, but I hope not. I like to think that I won't be.
That your science makes more sense.
Right. I mean, versus their science that there happens to be a hill in Greenland that looks just like a hill on Mars because they got a little selfie. Look, a little selfie of the corner.
There's a video going around that I didn't want to believe because I was like, okay, like this is like, because it's TikTok and who knows, like anybody can create stuff. And apparently there's somewhere north on a globe, in an icy area, where there's a bunch of NASA equipment that looks very similar to Mars.
That's Jaron discovered that. So Jaronism from the Jaronism channel, was looking on Google Earth and looking at photos.
Yeah.
And bam, there they were. And they say, oh, that's where we test the rover, right? It looks exactly like the pictures they give us from Mars, right? Look, this is it. Now, a Glober says, oh, no, you just took this picture from NASA's website and you added color and clouds. No, the opposite is true. They took this picture,
That's
put
called
a sepia
projection.
tone on it.
That's called projectionism when they accuse you of what they're actually doing.
Amazing. It's amazing so much. So do you know which planet this is?
Is that Jupiter?
You would think that's Jupiter, but that's because you're programmed. It's actually a lake with ducks and grass. Okay. So what I'm showing.
That is brainwashing. That is so good.
Right. And this is what NASA shows us. This was a picture from 2014 that everyone's seen. They also have this giant globe that's painted this way in the NASA facility. There's photos of it from a distance in the daylight. And then 2 years later, they said, hey, we realized that Jupiter has a magnetic core because we got pictures of the northern lights. Look at this. You don't need Photoshop for this. You need MS Paint. Okay, to drop that in there. This is an official picture from NASA saying that this is the northern lights. And if you look, this is all clouds, right? They haven't changed in 4 years. Look, every cloud is exactly the same. This is
Apparently
just lighter.
It's not hard to lie. People buy it.
But how about make a new one? Change the shape of this forever storm. That's the big storm. All right, NASA. They show us this, saying this is a time lapse. I believe it was the Voyager that was going by. But 4 years later, none of the clouds change in their photos that they show us. I ask myself a question all the time. Are they that stupid? Do they think we're that stupid? Or are they doing it on purpose to just test us? Is this a giant intelligence test? That's my latest. What's going on in the world right now, Jason, is it's an intelligence test, and anybody that walks into it and fails pays that price, whatever that may be.
So last night, I think she's a journalist over in Australia, and I made a not nice comment on my Telegram post because of the stupidity of people. But she's a journalist over in Australia, and she took the vaccine. She had myocarditis. She almost died in the hospital. And then she comes out like yesterday and says, oh, I went to the doctor. They said the inflammation has gone down and I'm totally good to get the booster. And I went, this is an IQ test.
Yes.
This is an IQ test. And someone was like, it's not IQ. People like that's it. No, that's what we're going through our spiritual 101 right now. You're on a test And if you pass it, you'll move on. If not, I'm sorry, you may not.
I like it. I think that's the case. Here, let's go. Let's jump back to the moon for a minute. So a lot of people say, how do we see the same side of the moon? Well, the heliocentric model is the face of the moon is locked to the Earth. So it's rotating, but it rotates in sync with the Earth because the Earth's gravity is holding on to one side of the moon magically. Okay? Crazy, but that's what they tell us. And they say on a flat Earth, if it was moving around the top of the flat Earth, as it moves away, it would change its angle. It would look like an ellipse. If you move a disc around, yeah, and they're right. But I don't think that's how we see the sun and the moon. I don't believe the sun and the moon that we see are physical. I believe that they are projections. They are reflections within the system. And here's a shot in a curved swimming pool. Now, this guy's body is facing the direction his face is facing. It's not facing the camera. Right? And so the person on the other side sees it facing them, right? So this is kind of how we see the moon, where it's always facing the observer.
That'll mess with your mind right there.
Yeah, it certainly does. Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. And is that the curvature of the outside, I'm assuming?
Well, again, this is reverse to what we would actually see if the dome is curved like we say. I don't believe that the dome is curved like we show it in something like this. I believe the dome, this is my belief, the sky itself, the firmament is more like an upside down dinner plate, not a salad bowl, but a dinner plate. Okay? It's more flat, and maybe it terminates in Antarctica, at 90 degrees south or whatever it is. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it goes on and on and on from world to world to world. I don't know. But I don't think it's a salad bowl. I think it's more of a dinner plate.
No, that makes sense. So I've seen the maps, and I think you have them too, where it shows the ice wall and it shows continents outside of that, right?
That is a one possibility that, we live here. Maybe our dome kind of semi-terminates here and then goes out and jumps from wall to wall. I don't know. Maybe it's giant sky. Go ahead.
Yeah, because here's the crazy. These are the questions that pop in my head. How far does this wall firmament thing go? Is it because I just happened to watch Truman Show again
about Truman Show.
The 2 months ago.
Okay.
And other than the main stuff, what stuck out to me the most? In the very beginning, when he was walking out of his house, and I don't think people picked up on it, was this metallic thing drops and crashes in the middle of the street.
The light.
Yeah, and he goes out and he picks it up, and my wife and I are very awake. And so as it goes, I go, what did that just say? I backed it up, reversed it, and the light says Sirius on it.
Yeah.
North Star. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the movie right there. We don't have to. Don't worry about the rest of the movie. That's it right there.
Right. So when you were talking about earlier, extraterrestrials and stuff, extra territory in the outer space. Okay, that makes sense. Guess what? They can come visit us on a conventional DC-10. Okay, they don't need the spaceship, right? Maybe I was somebody emailed me the other day, one of my listeners, I guess you can call it, and they were doing work at an old person's house, a 90-year-old, and he was an ex-Army guy, and he saw the sticker on the person's car, the Flat Earth sticker, and goes, hey, I like your sticker. And it's like, oh, and they started talking about it a little bit, and he goes, well, I've been to Antarctica many times on missions, and I'm not allowed to talk about it until I'm 100. I signed a non-disclosure, and he got very uptight about it, very nervous. And so the person pushed a little bit, and he said, well, I can tell you this, that there's large numbers of people living in Antarctica, in cities, if you will, that are not allowed to communicate with the inside world.
With the inside?
Well, he said, with the world beyond Antarctica, with our world. I used the word inside
we're
world.
The inside world.
We're the inside world. So maybe there's cities out here, right? Just, not even going out this far. And, people say, well, how could they keep that secret? Well, listen, the people in North Korea probably have no idea what's going on they're surrounded by land, right? So these people, even if they wanted to come, how are they going to go anywhere? There's like no way to navigate unless you have equipment and resources. So I found that very interesting. I actually asked the person to go back and see if you can do an interview and say you won't air it until they pass, or to do an anonymous interview and they're going to see if the person's up for it.
Dude, we need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
We need to know that. Like, now, I've only asked one pilot, and it was in passing. Oh, it's a globe. You
mean the glorified bus driver?
How deep is the programming to the point where, because I mean, like you just showed how deep it goes.
Yeah.
You showed me a picture up in the corner of your screen, and I immediately looked at it without any logical or critical thinking. I went, Jupiter. And you went, no, it's not. And even a pilot is going to be a pilot's going to say what they're told technically. Is there stuff in I don't know, I don't fly. Is there ways that they have to know it, or
they haven't thought about it. They're literally the plane does the flying. They take off and land. That has nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth, right? The curvature of the Earth is taken care of by the autopilot, which does absolutely nothing except fly in a straight line. Okay, they think that because they can go east and come back to right where they started, or west, right? Follow this compass west. It always has to point towards the center, which is the north, and it takes you right back to where you are. Billions of people have circumnavigated east and west, right? Nobody has circumnavigated south, ever, right? East and west, billions. South, north, never happened. And that's because the Earth is flat, right? Amelia Earhart, she went east or west, whatever direction she went. Just a big circle.
Why does no one question this?
Because it's too simple. It's right there in front of our faces, but we've been ball programmed. If you even question this, you have to just dump everything you know about space. All of that research, all of that nonsense. You have to literally unload your entire life of experiences. Okay? You think, have you ever been to Australia? You think you flew upside down and landed upside down in Australia. That's what you think. But the truth is, you just flew straight over to Australia. Right? When you're flying at 39,000 feet, according to the globe math, the horizon should be 242 miles away. Okay? So there would be a drop of 39,000, it happens to be the same number, of 39,050 feet, right? So on the surface of the Earth, if you looked, you wanted to see, it would be 242 miles away. That's what the drop would be. At 242 miles, it would be a 39,000 foot drop. But you're already at this altitude. So when you're at this altitude, the horizon that you see should be 78,000 feet below you, right? There's 39,000 feet of drop, and you're already 39,000 feet in the air. So the horizon should be 78,000 feet. So next time anyone's in an airplane, look out your window, then look out across the way at the window, and if it's clear, you'll see the horizon at eye level. Draw a line from that horizon, it goes right through your eyes, right at eye level, and you have to believe that horizon is 78,000 feet below you. 78,000 feet. Below you. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Right? And you know about the Georgia Guidestones, the whole Georgia Guidestones?
Yep.
Yeah. The Polaris never moves. I challenge you, go in your car, get it like a straw and tape it to the car out the window and line it up with Polaris. All right? The car's sitting still. Now drive down the road for 4 years. Okay, and look through that and tell me if Polaris is still there. Or drive down the road for 5 seconds. All right? Polaris never moves. That's all you need to know, that we're not moving. That Polaris is in a fixed position in our sky and everything turns around it. What is it? I don't know. But think about this. Polaris is scientifically provable impossible to see from what they tell us. They say it's about 48 times bigger than our sun. Okay. Well, our sun is 8 light minutes away. That's what they tell us, 8 light minutes away. So if I went 3 times that, it would be a light, wait a minute, 8, 16, 8 times farther would be a light hour, right? 24 times farther would be 3 light hours. Okay. If the sun was 24 times farther, it would be 3 light hours away. And we can prove that at much less of a distance than that, the sun would be too small to see. You with me? Right? Its angular size, scientifically provably would be smaller than the angular resolution limits of our eyes. Well, now remember, Polaris is 48 times bigger. So if we do 48 times 3 hours, that's 2 light days, right? Am I get that right? Or 6 light days? Yeah, 2 days, 48 hours times 3 light hours, 6 light days away. So Polaris, at 6 light days away, its angular size is scientifically provable too small to see. Forgetting the inverse square law of light issues, we'll just pretend it stays the same brightness. It would be provably too small for your eye to see. Can you see it? Of course you can see it. It's up there every night. How far do they tell us Polaris is? 433 light years away. Is that farther than 6 light days away?
Did they just suck at math?
They know what they do is they know that we suck at big numbers. Okay, they can't fathom.
That's true.
People just short circuit. Like when you say, "Hey, trillion," I used to say millionaire, billionaire. What's the difference? You know, there's a big difference. Okay, billionaire, trillionaire. What's the difference? There's a massive difference. The closest star, besides our sun, is Alpha Centauri. It's 25 trillion miles away. Okay, 4.5 light years or minutes? 4.5 light years. 25 trillion miles away. So imagine I put you in a rocket ship and you're going a mile per second. That's pretty fast. Okay. And you went 1 trillion seconds. How many miles would you have gone? Mile per second, 1 trillion seconds. A mile per second.
Yeah.
You went 1 trillion seconds.
This is the problem. With math, we get all jumbled up.
Yeah, so this is the easiest thing. It's 1 trillion miles. If you were on a mile a second for 5 seconds,
what it is.
If you're going for 5 seconds, you went 5 miles. If you're going for 10 seconds, you went 10 miles. If you're going for 1 trillion seconds, you went 1 trillion miles. Okay, so if you did that, you're 1/25th of the way to the closest star.
Right.
Okay, so here's the question I ask you: If you traveled at a mile per second, which is pretty fast, it's like 3,600 miles an hour, for 1 trillion seconds, how long have you been traveling? How long is 1 trillion seconds? Most people that are listening to me have heard me say, get away from that calculator. Get away from the calculator. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. Okay? Hands in the air. So 1 trillion, if you guess it, I'll give you a Bitcoin. If you guess it within a day.
I'm not going to guess it off the top of my head.
You just want to take a guess? I'll give you, how about if you guess it within a year?
Which means I'm not going to guess it.
Take a guess. Come on. Just so I can say close.
Give me the formula one more time.
How long is 1 trillion seconds? Don't say 1 trillion seconds. How long in hours, days, or weeks, or months, whatever you want to measure it in? How long is 1 trillion seconds? Just take a guess.
I'm going to go with 1,000 years, but that's not anywhere close.
Close. 31,000 years. Okay.
Okay. So I was 30,000 off.
Yeah. 31,000 years at a mile per second. You're only 1/25th the way to the first star. The other ones are magnitudes farther, and you believe that we can see them with our eyes. Okay.
So what you just did, though. So use me as an example. What you just did is exactly how they get away with this, right? Because
it was nothing complicated. It was just like
they stole math, they stole language, they stole everything. So that when I get that question, my brain even short circuits unless I sit down and study it like you're studying it, right?
If you wrote it down, you'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And
Right.
when I
But we
heard about
short
the
circuit when
trillion
we hear it.
when I heard about the trillion seconds being 31,000 years, I was like, no friggin' way. And got a calculator. It took me 2
Yep.
minutes. I'm like, holy crap. You know, a billion seconds is 11 years. I think a billion seconds. No, a billion seconds is 31 years. And a trillion seconds is 1,000 times that.
Jeez, man. Yeah, you wouldn't see that then.
Right. So this is the thing. They're like, well, someone else figured it out. You know, someone in a white lab coat. You know, Bill Nye,
The
the line guy with
science,
the bow tie.
it's the science.
Yeah, yeah. And the flat earthers were science deniers. You know what's funny? Without getting into the other topic too much, is the biggest insult that these globe trolls have is they're like, don't breed, right? Well, flat earthers are are aware of what's going on in the world, and we're not doing this thing, right? We might be the only ones that can breed after this.
Oh God, it's this. So this shatters. This is why this is such a problem for people, because this shatters everything back to square one, basically.
You know, here's the thing, and there's so many smart people, good people. I'll say good people, teachers, professors. They're good people. They're just indoctrinated, right? That will frown upon you, that will scorn you, that will say horrible things. Well, they're ignorant. I'm not saying that in a bad way. They are ignorant. I was ignorant to flat Earth when I banned people from my social media for even suggesting that I look at it. Right? I was ignorant.
How
right?
long ago was that?
That was 6 years ago.
You've come that fast from being
friggin' years, dude.
6 years is a long time. But when you think about it in the game of this whole thing and what's been happening the last, not just year, but like, you know, people are waking up.
Mm-hmm.
In 6 years, you went from atheist, correct? I mean, pretty much like pushing everything off.
I didn't label myself an atheist, but I didn't believe in a creator. I believe I evolved from pond scum. Look at my eyes. I'm looking through my skylights, and I can differentiate the different types of leaves on the different trees that are literally, you know, 100 yards from me, or however far that is. But that just was random mutations from pond scum. Okay. Somehow I'm able to do that with the light that's coming into my eyes, and my brain is able to sort it out. Okay. You know, that's just evolution. But that's because I'm a trusting person. I believed the people that told me this stuff. I believed the big, thick textbooks. You know what's funny is, you know, all of the school textbooks, schools are always tight on money, right? Military has as much as they need, but school needs to sell cupcakes to buy books.
Right.
Right. So the Rockefellers, you know, the families that rule this world, they don't want to give us the sacred geometry. They want to give us plane geometry, accounting. They want to make us good slaves. They don't teach us about vortex mathematics. They don't want to teach us
real math
about stuff that could challenge their existence. They don't want to teach us about stuff that shows that there's free energy, right? So they create the textbooks, and nobody could ever compete. Let's say you and I, you know, we're in the Matrix, like, you know what? We're going to make our own textbook, and we're going to sell it to the schools. Well, if we got a really good deal, we printed the books, got all the information, got them published and shipped. If we sold them at a 50% loss, the Rockefellers sell their books less than that to the schools.
Right.
They sell them just so no one else can. I mean, they
own the printing companies.
They sell them at a loss. When you go to next time, you know, if anyone shops at any of the big box stores, whatever, go to the book section. These kids' books, super glossy, you know, beautifully made books on space, right? You know, this incredible book. It should be like $90. It's like $6.99. Okay, right? You can't make this stuff and ship it for half that cost.
Correct.
I mean, for twice that cost, whatever. So again, this is all just done to program our minds.
You know what's dangerous right now, and I talk about this all the time, is when you go down this hole and you start understanding, there's a difference between going down a hole and just looking at it, researching like what I used to do versus now I'm like, holy crap, I see something to this and I can understand it. It makes me research better. The scary part about this is people right now, that's what I started studying. People right now are fighting to get their kids back into school.
Oh my God.
You know what's wrong? You know what's happening? That's the last place they should be because the school is what's teaching this.
Right. 100%. I mean, that's the one good thing that's come out of this is there's so many little homeschools starting up. And, when I had my company, I would hire somebody that, that I didn't care about their college degree. I cared about how they thought, how they used their mind. Could they figure out simple problems? Right. And the kids that I know that are, homeschooled and not jabbed, they're the smartest kids I've ever met. Amazing. Yep. And their future is cut out for them. So
who was the flat Earth guy that got the philosopher? The who was it? I forgot. The one that called it a flat Earth, and everyone
Aristophanes?
Was it Aristophanes
with the sticks and shadows?
Yeah, but there were. I'm bringing it up because I'm looking at your graphic right there, Copernicus, Galileo, etc. But one of them said flat Earth, and he was shunned. Who was that?
Ptolemy, maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't remember. I'll find it. But so what degree is the compass on that Freemason logo? Not that I know the 90-degree square. What's the compass?
I don't know. Is it 33? I'm not sure.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the Disney cartoon? I'm sure you've seen it at this point if you're in this field, where they tell you about Pythagorean theorem and the Pentagon and all their shapes and what it really is.
I recall something about it.
That's their secret math.
Yeah.
Their secret math is what they're keeping us from in your, like, the flat Earth math is the one that's put away. They're giving you heliocentric math. I'm assuming that's what it seems to be to me.
Yeah, it's all about it. It's literally mind control, limiting our thoughts, and just taking away our, they're what they're doing to us now is they're separating us. Right? They're taking away our humanity. What makes you human? Human is interacting with people, touching other people, hugging other people, having close-to-close conversations. When you and I talk, it's not the words that are coming out of my mouth. It's the micro expressions that your brain is processing. Okay? Right? The micro expressions. So putting a muzzle over us, that's insanity. It's just complete and total insanity. And they want us to feel alone. So let me jump over to my app for a second. Can you make me host again?
Yes, I can. I have a question for you, but I'll wait till this is done.
No, go ahead. Ask the question.
Because I need answers. So fire away. I love this app. I'm using the app more now. I had it since last year, and
have you updated
I didn't use it a lot. Now I'm using it more, and I'm finding people in my area. But I'm not gonna steal that.
Yeah, no, that's good. The app, again, everybody, if you're new to this, the featured video every day, I say take the challenge. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks, and then you'll be a flat earther. You lose the respect of your family and friends. But if you don't, if you still think that after 2 weeks that the earth is a globe, you can win 3 Bitcoins by sending me a proof. But before you do, you have to hit this question mark button, and up come all of the questions that you will ask. I just loaded the app, so it's loading for the first time. And if I clicked, what about eclipses? Up comes a playlist. I hit open YouTube, and here is videos that Google's going to hide from you. They don't want you to see these.
Dude, mad respect for you for the work you put into this. Really,
thank you. So again, all of this stuff is in here. And this is something, I don't know if you've seen this yet. Have you seen the lost history of flat Earth?
No, this is a new world. I got to dive deeper into this now.
So hang on. This one's going to blow you away. So right in the middle, the web button, the second row middle, hit that. That brings you to this page. And we have all sorts of stuff. We got our 24 hours Globebusters. That's always fun to have on in the background. Instead of CNN will give you cancer. This will make you smart. Okay? So watch, that's a great thing to watch. But this here, the lost history of flat Earth, if you click that puppy, up comes the open YouTube. And the first one is just a little intro, but the second one, it's 5 hours. Now, when somebody sent me that, I'm like, 5 hours, I'm not, my videos are under 5 minutes. I'm not watching it. But then
5 hours.
So then it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I was doing something and I needed something to watch. I said, a couple people sent me this. Let me just turn that on for a minute. All right. I'll watch it for 10 minutes. Well, 4 a.m. I finally I could go to sleep. I was done, but I couldn't go to sleep because my mind was on fire. I was like, This video is blowing everyone's mind.
I just had a viewer say 5 hours of nonstop facts.
5 hours of check this out. I've watched it 3 times, and I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again. Okay.
Damn you! Now I have to watch this.
So by the way, it's in 7 parts. So you can just say, "Hey, I'll watch one chapter at a time." All right. I'll watch one. I'll stop it. I'll know what. But what will happen is, if you make it through 10 minutes, you're done. Make sure you bring food and water. Cancel all of your appointments. You're not going anywhere. All right. That's going to blow you away. Also, my interviews are up here if you like my style of interviews. All sorts of stuff. Books. This one is a must-have coffee table book. It's free online, but you can also order the hard copy from lulu.com. And it shows you how these emergency landings prove flat Earth. You know, NASA's in charge of radar, GPS, and radar, GPS, and
they control it all.
And flight plans, right? They control it all, and you'll find out why by seeing that. But the biggest thing is we're not alone. Hit that little handshake button, and up come. These are all of the other flat earthers that are near me.
It's growing.
Yeah, it's growing. There's 18, almost 19,000 right now, and that's only like less than 20% of the users. And right now I have 129 people within a 50-mile radius. If I click on one of the dots, I could say, hey, there's this person, and I could hit that little chat head, and I could send them a text message. How about that?
You have a movement started, man. I just need to get you out of Connecticut now.
I might be I'm looking at South Carolina.
Okay, that's good. It works. South Carolina's cool.
Yeah. So again, this is right now it's running a little slow because of all the processing, but I have an update. We're finalizing it tomorrow. Hopefully I can get it up to the App Store tomorrow, and it'll move much more smoother. And then the second phase of that, I need everybody to go to that model, to that version, and then I have another update which is going to make it's going to blow it away. It's going to be so amazing where basically it takes the clusters and it takes all the dots and puts them into clusters. So when you zoom out, instead of seeing all the dots, you'll see clusters. Hey, there's 100 here, there's 1,000 here, there's 500 here.
There's just so people see, that is the flat Earth. It's backwards, but just put in flat Earth in Apple or whatever, and it'll come right up.
Right, and then just make sure on Google Play that you don't buy there's a knockoff by the Ron Media Group. Bad. Ron Media Group, bad. They're the Flat Earth Society people, and they're basically gonna, you have to pay for their app. I think it's the same price, or maybe it's more. I'm not sure. But don't send me an email telling me my app sucks, because that's not my app. And
your app does cost money, but it's phenomenal.
It's $3. And that's it. There is a subscription that you do not have to do. The only thing that subscription got you before this friend finder was that you didn't get one pop-up a day that says, would you like to subscribe? Okay. Right. That's all it did. And there's no ads. There's no nothing. The friend finder, you still get the friend finder without the subscription. It's only if you want to send outgoing messages in the friend finder that it's $11 for the year. I challenge anybody to find a subscription for less than $11 a year, 99 cents a month, right? But you don't have to even do that. You don't. Just, I tell people, make your username your email address so people know they can email you if they want to, You
must be getting massive feedback on this.
Everyone loves it. Right now, there are people are like, I wish it could run a little faster because it's a little laggy because it's processing 18,000 dots every time you move it. But the update, I'm testing it right now. You saw how smooth it was. It's beautiful. It's going to be lightning fast, and then there was a bunch of little bugs, like when you send a message, sometimes it cuts the last word off. But these are little things. I actually released it. I was going to test it for like another month, but everyone's like, no, we need it now. We need it now. And the desperation for companionship, male or female, was so high. I was like, you know what, let me get this out there. Let me tell you, I'm so happy that I did. I get messages from people. Somebody said, I had given up trying to find somebody to talk to, and I found somebody just like a mile from me, and we've been talking on the phone every day. There's people meeting up. There's hundreds now of people that have gotten together. I found a guy in my own town just this morning, and we're getting together on Friday.
Wow.
Okay?
That's
So,
all. Well, this is the thing. We're in a world now of so much craziness that all of us who think like this or think just in general of being awake, you've lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of family. People are looking to build new relationships, connections.
the amazing thing is, I've been waiting. It's for me. It's been a long time because I've been into all this stuff for 15
Right.
years or more. And
Right.
Flat Earth 6 years ago, 2015, somewhere around there. And the ridicule I've gotten, when I talked about, they're spraying chemicals in the sky and people are like, you're a conspiracy theorist. Now they admit it, and everyone's like, well, all right, they. People are coming around. Old friends are coming back. I lost some friends. Some family members. Luckily my kids, they're awake. They don't care, but they're awake. Right? They don't care, but they're like, okay, I get it, Dad. I just want to live my life. Then that's fine. But
So you were in this way before flat. So like you go back. I'm like 10 plus years in this
yeah.
world, like not flat Earth, but in general. Like what was your actual like what opened you up originally?
Well, I was, in the 90s, I was really looking into what money was because and I really with
Okay.
the Federal Reserve, I'm like, this is crazy. There's a private bank. And, I talked about that for years. Then the 9/11 happened. And I started a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And episode 1 was called 9/11 is Dave's Baby, right? Because I literally blew up this podcast network that I was on in New York City. Like they had no idea what they were going in for. And the podcast we were looking into all the deceptions. You're aware of the Boston deception, right? Yeah. And the Connecticut one, and so we covered all of those things with lots of controversy. But then Flat Earth came into it, and I was just like, nope, that's beyond. That's going to discredit everything I've done. But then my friend Sophia Smallstorm, she convinced me to look. She goes, Dave, I think the Earth might be flat. And I'm like, the hell's wrong with you? She forced me to watch a video. Like, oh, where do you get your information? YouTube? Well, YouTube is a platform that has everything. Good, bad, ugly, real, fake, doesn't matter. Use your God-given common sense. So I watched these videos and I'm like, all right, now I'm going to prove the globe. And I went in and I started looking. And everything I thought proved the globe actually works perfect on a flat Earth. And some of them actually prove flat Earth, like seasons.
Wow, dude, that's good. So I have many questions. We still have like a good 30 plus minutes. So this firmament, and this is not me disproving. These are just like, as you open up, like, okay, questions, like I got to figure this stuff out. Like I watched the Truman Show. Obviously it's a freaking dome. Do we think that this is actually a physical, like, wall dome, or do we think that this is like a plasma or a separation in water? Like, do you have any idea on that, or is that something you're diving into, you're looking at as well?
I have my theories, but those are just theories. I can't.
What are your
touch
theories?
It. Well, I think that there is some sort of physical frozen barrier. Not sure.
Okay.
Not sure. Right.
Somebody else said frozen today in my Telegram channel. I was like, I'd never heard that part.
In the app, if you click on the what about Antarctica button, there's a bunch of videos about the firmament and the thing called blue sky ice, where that's the real ice that they're examining down in Antarctica, and it doesn't melt, it evaporates, and it's literally sky blue in color. And there's all these stories about it, where they tried to drill, they came to the wall and they drilled into it for miles and miles and miles for over years, and then it just kind of closed in. So the drilling machine is still in the ice.
What?
And yeah, crazy. But again, I'm not there. So let me give you my official answer. Maybe there is no dome. Maybe it's flat. Maybe it's made of glass. Maybe it's made of frozen oxygen. Maybe it's ice. Maybe it's energetic. Maybe it's plasma. Or maybe I just don't know. Okay.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's just thicker water. If you watch the Go Fast rocket, there's a lot of controversy with that. The Go Fast rocket, this is an amateur rocket that was shot up in Arizona.
I watched that.
And, the people say, oh, there's a spin, anti-spin. The funny thing is, literally, no one had ever heard of this anti-spin yo-yo mechanism until all these videos started coming out on this. And all of a sudden, this video showed up with this anti-spin, stop spinning thing. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying any of it. But one thing these guys did is they gave us 2 camera angles that NASA would never give us uninterrupted. Watch NASA, SpaceX, any of them. Edit, 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 edit. You never get more of 2 seconds of a launch. And look, the moon is over New Zealand. Okay? During this launch, the moon was over New Zealand, and this is over Arizona. Okay? If the Earth was a basketball, and Arizona was on the very top of that basketball, you are a millimeter over that basketball, and New Zealand is underneath it. And the moon was below New Zealand. How would you see it on a globe?
Do you know who put that rocket up there? That that?
I think it was sponsored by what's that energy drink?
Oh,
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
I think it was.
So that really hit something. Like I watched the video. And
did it go into a thicker medium? You know, I kind of think that the dome, whatever it is has a positive charge to it. The Earth has a negative charge, and just like the Earth's negative charge attracts things to it, right? So it says A down is this way, then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. That's my opinion. I think maybe when you're close enough to the dome, it attracts things to it. So the air gets thicker and thicker and almost becomes liquid. Maybe. I don't know. These are things that I don't know. So nobody go out there. Dave says this. Dave says that.
No.
Dave's just speculating, trying to figure out what this place is. Because in my pocket, in my pile, I have a big, huge bag of things I know and things I don't know. And I'd say the bag is 95% filled with things I don't know. But I know that those don't knows are in there. Globers have no idea that they don't know. They think they know things that are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how do you have a gas ball, a star, in a space vacuum? What happens when you give gas, an open amount of gas into a void? Whoosh, it equalizes. Okay? Gas pressure needs a container. Well, the container's gravity. What started pulling that gas together? If that was the case, how come all the air in my room isn't bunching together because of its own gravity? Okay?
Right.
It's I don't want to say retarded, but it's retarded.
Why is no one else putting another rocket out? Like, we need to see that rocket again. We need, like, why are there not rockets?
Here's a rocket that they put up just recently, and something went wrong with this helium fireworks show. Okay? Look at this thing. Okay? This was I forget if it was NASA or Russia or
danced off the screen. It didn't go up at all.
And then watch, and then they're like watch, and then they're looking for it in the distance. Like, well, where is it? Where is it? Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. It's just a little firework with a helium rocket. Okay? And they're just pretending, and then they show you this. Oh, look, it's in space. Look. Oh, now it's falling down. Now watch. What the heck is falling off here? Like, what is going on? Right? When you look at and then so that's a little rocket, but so let's take a look at the space shuttle. Remember the old space shuttle? This is a helium external tank. It's filled with helium. This is a lighter than air ship, right? Look at this rocket. Look at this fence here. Do you ever see what a tornado would do to a fence like this? A tornado with 300-mile-an-hour winds would turn that into a pretzel, right? And that's at room temperature, 300-mile-an-hour winds. This is 20,000-mile-an-hour superheated gases coming out of that thing, and that fence doesn't even shake.
It doesn't shake. It doesn't melt.
It doesn't melt, pulverize. This thing weighs 4 million pounds, okay? And this little fire that's coming out doesn't do anything to this. And look, it goes up and then back down. 4 million pounds just bounced, kind of like a bouncy house. All right. This is ridiculous. Right? Edit. And now watch. This thing goes downrange. It'll show it in a second. And when it goes downrange, the external tanks, which they say they can't turn off, they release at some point. There's two long, thin ones. So this thing's going over 17,000 miles an hour, probably closer to 20,000 miles an hour, right? This thing is going 20,000 miles an hour. No, it's not.
I still can't figure out why it goes in an arc and doesn't
because it doesn't want to hit anything.
I know.
You know, why would you turn when there's a wall in front of you? But when it's they said there's an argument whether it's 30 miles, 35 miles downrange, but let's just say it's only 20 miles downrange. And when these things let go, there's a big these explosions happen. They go,
Yep.
and you'll see it. But if you just Google space shuttle launch, you'll find this exact video, and you'll hear it at the exact same time you see it. So watch, there it goes, and you hear this, right? So first, it's going 17,000 miles an hour. These things are going sideways now at 17,000 miles an hour. And what about that thrust? How come they're not just, these things should shoot off in front of it. They're still firing, right? Here's the thing. That sound, what happens when thunder and lightning happens? You can count the number of seconds it takes the sound to get to you. We should not have heard that for 90 seconds.
That is correct.
If it was only 20 miles downrange. 90 seconds.
You're right.
Okay? But we hear it at the exact same time. Then, after the shuttle kicks off the external tank, it's now still going up at 25,000 miles an hour or something to break orbit, okay? So these guys are filming out their window. They're going at 25,000 miles an hour up. They're using their camera. They're looking out the window and filming this, okay? They're filming this. It's falling down to Earth so fast it's going to burn up before it gets to those clouds. This thing weighs like 20,000 pounds empty. That's what they tell us. How is he filming this? He's on his way up. This is on its way down. How's he keeping it in focus? Now watch right
good
here.
Production crew.
Watch right here. A little piece of handkerchief's going to go by. Did you see that?
Yep.
That shows you that this thing is just floating. And that was like a candy
that
wrapper
was
from
too
the
slow.
helicopter that's actually filming this. Okay? There's another one that's going to go by over here. Another something. But this is clearly a helium balloon. There it goes. So, again, people just want to
you think the
believe
Challenger
anything.
hit the firmament? Or do you think it
No,
was
I
just
don't. And I don't think anyone was ever on the Challenger.
Well,
What happened to the people?
Well, no, the people are in different positions now in colleges and universities, which is kind of crazy. I've seen that whole thing.
Yeah.
So, what do you think people who actually go there and attend? Because I am near Port Canaveral, I am near Space Canaveral, Space Coast.
Yeah.
What are people watching? Because we see it go up in the air, but I have said I will say I have not locally there, but I have been at my house and we can see the streak in the air.
Yeah,
like
you'll see the
something
streak.
went up.
You know, you'll see the streak go up in the sky, and it curves out, and it goes out over the Bermuda Triangle, where there's very few boats out there, if there's any, and they just ditch it into the ocean. Okay, that's it.
I was just gonna say, what are they doing? Just launching this thing on an arc into the ocean? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, there's one in Russia. They launched theirs out. I forget the name of the place, but it's where they used to test all these ICBM missiles. And somebody compared the old ICBMs to their space program. It's the same friggin' vessel. They just painted it differently, right? And basically, they just launch it and they crash it out in this nowhere's land where nobody's there to see it, and that's it. And then immediately they're showing us, CGI. Now that's when you see the long trail, sometimes, like when you're watching it on video, there is no smoke trail, right? Like, how come sometimes there's a smoke trail and sometimes there's not? And that's because they're doing different things. This is what I call the 2-pack rocket. It's a hologram. It's not real, right? Look, there's no smoke. There's just smoke coming out of the ground, but look how clean this is. Look, I wish cars would run this clean. But when you do this, and again, look, we're not seeing anything. Where's all that thrust killing all that smoke? Something went wrong, and the rocket had a glitch, and we'll see it in a second right about here. Watch the top half of the rocket, and here it comes. Like, what is that? So we'll zoom in. Well, that's what I thought. It was like, oh, haze. This haze. Well, how's the haze moving up with it? This is a CGI glitch, right?
What happens when this facade falls? All of this facade. It's a show, dude. It's the whole thing is literally a movie.
You know what? Here's the thing. I always, that's a great question to ask. And the answer is, I don't know. Maybe it's just going to come out. Maybe we're doing them a favor. Maybe people are waking up to it to the point where everyone's like, okay, finally you admit it. Great. You know, I don't know. But here's the thing. We live in this satanic world, and this is the biggest trick that they have to control us. Because here's the thing. If you want to take our world back, two things have to happen. One, you have to get your head out of your ass. Okay, you have to wake up, put on your big boy pants, have some guts, tell your sleeping friends what's going on, that we don't live on a spinning ball flying through a space vacuum. Okay, realize that we are at the center of creation, that nobody has control over our minds except in our imagination, right? Nobody has any control over us at all except what we imagine them to have. Imagine if everyone listened to this podcast, right? The entire world tuned in and they were like, hey, you know, Jason and Dave are right. I'm no longer going to listen to the government. Well, that's step one. They've just become powerless. Well, they still have some power because we need a way to do commerce. And like, I have some gold and I have some silver, but I wanted to buy some of your stuff. How am I going to get you the gold and the silver, and how am I going to get you the right amount? So we need we need some sort of currency, and we're playing on their monopoly board, right? Did you play Monopoly?
I have played Monopoly.
What happens when the bank runs out of money? You know what the rules say?
You go get a piece of paper and you cut up and make more.
And just make some more, write some more money down. Okay. And then I want you to go get your Monopoly board, lay out all the bills, and then take matching real currency, and you'll notice that they're the same colors. All right. We need to get off their Monopoly board and play with our own. And the answer to that, my answer is cryptocurrency, not the cryptocurrency they're talking about, not their centralized, crypto with, their centralized digital dollar, because then we're going to be slaves for that. We're going to be slaves for hundreds of years. Okay. With that, privacy coins like Monero or Pirate Chain, right? If you don't know what these, so very good. And for anyone that doesn't know what crypto is, you need to just start learning about it. When I first started looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, I'll never figure this out. And I figured it out. It's not that hard.
Are you a dollar vigilante guy?
I do like Jeff. I have Jeff is, I do enjoy his videos. I guess that you call me a 95% Jeff fan, right? Which is good. It's more than you can ask for.
I understand that.
That's more than you can ask for.
I get that. Yeah.
And he has, excuse me, he has led me in the right direction many times. So I don't even say that with hesitation. I guess I am a Jeff fan. So the next thing is, where was I going with that? I had a good point.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no. So I was saying, find a way to learn about it. And one of those ways is I'm going to plug my co-host, Jaron, from Jeranism, JERANISM.com. He does crypto classes. He does one-on-ones. He does Friday nights class. You can join his Patreon and you get access to all of his videos and just start watching them.
Spell that again?
Jeranism, with J. JERANI, excuse me, ISM.
Okay, Jeranism.
Jeranism. He's a great flat earther too. His videos on flat earth are amazing.
Oh, sweet.
Excuse me.
The Baby Truther Show.
That is Jaron, myself, and our crazy co-host, Alex Stein.
Oh, dude.
Which he's going to be airing a video tomorrow, which literally is going to make you cringe. It's unbelievable. Baby Truther Show is Thursdays on YouTube and Rockfin at 2 p.m., something like that.
We need you to have your own network. I need you. Okay, you need to do what I'm doing. You need to set up your own server, because what you're doing, and I love your work and I adore you. You're an amazing person, and I want to make sure all the truly awake people, not the hopium people out there who we talked about before we came on, right? Like, get your own server, dude. These videos, these things are so good. I don't even know that I trust Patreon, man. Like,
yeah,
I want you to have your own network.
Who knows? We're right now. I'm bringing people together. That's my goal. And by the way, where are you located?
North Orlando, Florida, Central Florida.
In October, I think it's like the week of the 20th. 2-day conference in South Carolina called Flattoberfest.
It's awesome.
Anybody that can make it. It's a conference the first day, and the next day is more like a music festival. Hundreds and hundreds of people. We're going to take over the town. I bought an actual billboard, so we're going to do some activism at the billboard. It's going to be, you're going to literally make 1,000 new friends. It's amazing. Anybody that wants to go to that, check it out at flatearthfestivals.com, or if you just hit the shopping cart on the app, there's a link to it there if you have my app.
Okay, so I know there's gonna be some theories. I know you may not know the exact answer, but I got to know. So, say the wall ends at like Antarctica, or say the wall ends after that with the other continents. Do you think there's other planets out there like us that are lined up in a parallel string type universe, or like what have you looked into?
So there's some options. One, this is it, and it's just ice, and then who knows what's past the firmament, and that's maybe another jail that we're in, right? That could be a jail. Maybe there's other puddles out there. Maybe 5,000 miles that way, there's another puddle with its own sun and its own moon and its own planets and its own everything, right? Why not? Why? Maybe there's a million other ones, or a billion, okay, or a trillion. Who knows? Again, you saw the ring, the idea that there's rings around us. I kind of like that also. But either way, there is, the idea that there's not more land is actually insane. It's insane. There has to be more land. I mean, maybe we're a dome inside of a dome inside of a dome, right?
Well,
I kind of like this one.
It's interesting where Trump said, like a year or two ago, they needed more icebreakers.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to break through. There's a book in the app. It's right on the front there called The Iron Republic, and it's a story about a senator that retired and got a ship and a crew and went to Antarctica, and he found an opening, and he worked his way through the opening. Then they were lost at sea. They didn't know where they were. And then a month later, they found land, and a boat came out and greeted them. And they're like, "Hey, where are we? We're from America." They're like, "Well, this is the Iron Republic." And they're like, "Where's that?" And it's like, "Well, it's on the other side of the ice wall, about the same distance as America." And they went in and they talked to, this is in 1901 or give or take. And
what?
Yeah. They had talked about flat screens and computers and floating cars and all sorts of crazy technology. And this was actually a series of articles that was printed in Florida Magazine. The funny thing is, if you wanted to find the original issue of Time Magazine or a Playboy episode, magazine from whatever, you can find it anywhere, right? If you have, you can find the stuff, eBay, whatever you want to find. You can't find a single copy of Florida Magazine anywhere. They have removed them. Okay, so it's just in digital form now, right?
Really?
So it's called the Iron Republic. I highly recommend the book if you're a book reader, but also if you just go, it's linked in the app, but you can just find it on YouTube yourself. Just search the Iron Republic. The Morgile, John, the Morgile channel, read the entire book in a video, so you can listen to it. Mind-blowing stuff.
Jeez, dude. There's actually, if you go Google Florida Magazine, look at images, there's a January 1902 issue. Man, that would be cool to have your hands on those.
Yeah, anybody that can find one, call me up.
So that means you got to wonder what they're going to Antarctica for then. How thick that ice wall would be if it was an ice wall.
It's not an ice wall. Again, it's the shoreline of our pond. And the reason it's a wall is just because, the sun never gets farther out, and it just, that's where it's frozen. And, maybe some parts of it aren't a wall, but most of the stuff that we see is in the form of a wall. But, when people think ice wall, they think Game of Thrones. And, they got this ice wall and the little guys up there peeing off the end of the world. That's mind control. That's to make you think of something that it's not.
Right. Man, dude. Is this still your full-time gig? All you're doing is this just education every single day?
This is what I do. this is what I do. And I'm fortunate enough. I think that the creator gave me a pathway. I asked for it, actually. I
Yeah.
asked for everything in my life. I asked for, I've gotten. And, I was in corporate America and I said, you know what? Screw corporate America. I want my own company. I want to be the CEO of my own company. And I kind of laughed when I said that, right? And I put that on my vision board. Like, I don't know how to be a CEO. And then 5 years later, I found myself in my office that I had started a business with some buddies, and I was doing the books. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the CEO of my company, my own company. And so it happened, and the company's doing great. And then, truth got in the way because my partners are not into truth. So that's their journey. And it caused some issues. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should go away. And I asked for a sign, and I got two friggin' signs. Like, you ask for a sign, like, hey, give me a little pat on the back, and somebody sticks a boot up your ass. Okay.
Yeah.
I got two signs that literally just said, okay, go. And I had made the app, and I was like, you know what? When I was paying my bills that night, I had money just came in from Apple, and it was just enough to cover my bills. I'm like, if I did this full time, it would probably make even more money and it'd help more people. And it's not about selling apps to make money, because I walked away from real money. I walked away from more money than I ever thought I could make. And it's about giving people a chance to free themselves. We need to get out of their prison, and the app is the best way to do that. If you Google flat Earth, you're not going to find anything. You're going to find garbage. You're going to give up. It's going to confuse your mind, and you're going to be stuck, right? Get off, get out of their prison and get off their monopoly board. So those two things will give us our freedom back. And we have the very short opportunity right now to make that happen.
Are you having any problems with YouTube and in the stuff? Because I know some of the stuff's hosted. No,
it's YouTube has not been striking or removing flat Earth stuff, but they shadow ban the crap out of it. Like, you can, just like one of the original great videos is A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions by ODD Reality, or ODD TV. Search it by name, it's not going to show up. You're going to get Professor Dave, who is a page shill with his snarky, ridiculous comments that have been destroyed a million times, or Psyop Man Dan, or these other paid shills. They're right at the front of the searches every single time. And again, in the app, under, like, if you see a video about, someone like this pilot, Kelsey the pilot, says, he can prove the Earth is flat. He'll charter a plane anywhere. We called him out. It's like, okay, we'll charter your plane. We want to go from Buenos Aires to Australia, to Perth. And he's like, well, I can't do it. He backed out. He immediately backed out when we called him, because you can't make that flight. So in the app, under debunking the debunkers, all of those videos have been just meticulously taken apart. Like, here, let me show you how they're deceiving you. And then, there's your answer. So again,
interesting.
The app, $3, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's the best way to learn about flat Earth and free your mind.
Well, there's something you said there that I loved, that like the viewers need to hear, because I've talked about it. My moderators talk about it, but you just said it, is everything you put down on your vision board or wrote down, you actually created. I can say the same exact thing. Like, I didn't know about this world of, creating your destiny and everything else, and creating your life, until my wife, and it's actually funny, when I was in college, there was this girl that I liked, and but I was not going to date her. And she was Italian. And and in my head, I went, I want an Italian girl, but from the South, because I liked Florida. Sure enough, Florida, Southern Italian girl. And everything I started writing down has literally just boom, 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 right into place. Now, it didn't happen overnight. You got to work for it. But
right. But you have to allow it. It's not even work. See, that's the trick. You have to, it's not that hard.
You have to put
the hardest part
is
allowing it, it to happen. Allowing it to happen. Don't just write it down and then kick back and drink beer and watch a movie.
No, you got to put action in.
Yeah, you gotta do stuff and allow it to happen, and keep your eyes open for these invitations that come, right?
Yes.
It's like when I asked for a sign, those signs were put right in front of me. And I was like, I could look at it and go, wow, that's the worst thing ever. This is unbelievable. Like, I have my own company and my partners want to kick me out. Or I can look at it and go, here's my opportunity.
Right. Dude, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. Before I let you go, I always have to ask this, especially with what we're going on right now. With everything you know and everything that's actually happening in the world right now, Space Force just got their, their new outfits. They just got their new outfits. What do you think happens over the next 6 months, a year, and how fast do you think this truly catches on in the world, the flat Earth?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think they're going to try some crazy stuff, maybe even as early as this afternoon, because who knows? Or or next year, or I can. You can never put a timeline on it. You can't put a timeline on it. Okay, so you've seen where every 100 years the same thing happens again and again and again. So this whole Rona thing is funded until 2025 by the World Bank. So maybe that's the timeline. Maybe this is the time where enough people wake up. I always wondered, why did they need to pull off 9/11 to invade these other countries? They have all the keys to all the rockets and everything and the planes. They need our permission. They need our approval. This world is what we make it with our mind. That's why they're programming us with fear, and they make us pound the war drums so they can take us to war. George Bush never killed anybody. He just convinced order followers to kill other order followers, right? And it's all propaganda for the mind, and they can't break our free will, so they're always telling us what they're doing. They're giving us a fighting chance. Again, back to the beginning, it's an intelligence test.
Yep.
It's 100% intelligence test. They're controlling our mind with cartoons. Okay? And until you put on your big boy pants and gut it up and step out there. Listen, Jason, you're going to make a lot of new friends by having this episode, and you're going to piss off a lot of people that just aren't ready for this information. That's okay. You got to let them go. You got to let them have their journey. They'll come back when they see it. Right?
Amen. Dude, that was so well said. And that your mind is infected with cartoons. That is so good. And we've hit a wall because they tried to put something into place. And finally, people are like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. And we're fighting back.
Right.
We have an opportunity to go down a different timeline, man.
Yep. If you want to check out, if you're looking for information on the Rona, stoplookthink.com has all the stuff that YouTube has removed. Stoplookthink.com has, stuff on the Rona, stuff on all the other deceptions. All the stuff is archived there in video form. All right.
Awesome, man. Hey, you rock. I can't wait to have you back.
Didn't we just do this yesterday?
It's so much fun. This is awesome. And hey, thank you so much for this app and what you're doing with it. I mean, this really does help people connect.
The app is if it wasn't my app, I'd be pushing it because it's just amazing, and it keeps getting better and better. The next update that's going to happen later this week, hopefully, is phase 1, and then phase 2, it's gonna blow it away. So again, it's already the highest rated app in the App Store and the Google Play Store. Just make sure you get the right one by Blue Water Bay. Scan this, or if you forget all of it, because it's the longest, dumbest name ever, Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It only took Owen Benjamin 2 years to get the name almost right. It's you can find the link at flatearthdave.com. Flat Earth Dave, that's me, flatearthdave.com. If you ever want to find my interviews and you don't have the app, that's fine. Flat Earth Dave interviews on YouTube.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you being on today.
All right, man. Thanks.
You rock. And as always, we always tell the viewers, go out and help somebody today, serve somebody today. Go out and show them Dave's app today.
Absolutely.
100%. Dr. Jason Dean, Dave Weiss, Brave TV. Everyone have an amazing day. I'll see you all back tonight for After Dark as well. So
you all love the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. The best tool to show your friends and strangers how the Flat Earth actually works. But are you ready for a Flat Earth app game changer? A new feature has been added. But first, a reminder of some of the existing features. Video of the day. World time. See what time it is all around the Flat Earth. a true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add a countdown to your next big date. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. Top 21 frequently asked questions with quick pop-up video answers. Access to the best photos and gifts at your fingertips. Flat Earth books and merchandise and more. Now, the game-changer upgrade we've always dreamed of having. After a year in development, our app just went next level. You are now able to find Flat Earth app users near you. See where they are and send them an instant message in the app. Instantly arrange for a Flat Earther meetup. When activated, blue dots mark the location of the app users near you. You have 3 choices on showing your location. PP, to pinpoint. This marks your exact location. CC, for city center, which will place you within a few miles of your current location. Or turn off, which removes you from the map altogether. Use it when traveling, or when you're out for a day at the beach, or while eating out somewhere. Find out where other Flat Earthers are and connect. Find like-minded Flat Earth app users and regain your sanity. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.